I want to go back to Mr. Brahmachalani. Mr. Brahmachalani, what do you reckon? Do you reckon India has been painted into a corner, or like some of the participants in this debate feel that it doesn't and shouldn't really bother India in the long run?
Let's be clear that successive governments in India have adhered to an independent foreign policy approach. Independence is very much deeply ingrained in the Indian strategic culture. India believes in friendship without dependence. That will not change under the present government or any future government, because for decades now, this has been the cardinal principle of India's foreign policy. Now look at what Trump is doing. Here he is systematically targeting independent powers in the global south: India, Brazil, and South Africa. He has slapped 50% tariffs on Brazil. Brazil and India are the two members of BRICS that are seeking to ensure that BRICS does not become an overtly anti-US platform. And yet he's gone after India and Brazil while he's quoting China. He's bending over backwards. He has forced the Taiwan's president to cancel stopovers in the US because Trump does not want to annoy Beijing. He's bending over backwards in relation to China while punishing the leading democracies of the global south like India, Brazil, and Brazil, and South Africa. And even more important is to look what kind of trade deal Trump and his team were pushing for. First, they said the US would retain a relatively high tariff on Indian goods even under a trade deal. That is 20% tariff rate, the way they have forced Vietnam to accept 20% tariff rate, or they have forced Indonesia and Philippines to accept a 19% tariff rate. Now look at the difference between what Trump has imposed on India, 25% tariff rate, and the 20% tariff rate that he wanted in the deal. But in return, what was India getting? In fact, they were forcing India to commit to imposing zero tariffs on most imports from the US. India is a giant market, in a rapidly expanding market. This is the market that the US needs. This is the market that European powers need. This is the reason why the UK has signed an FTA with India. So if the US wants a trade deal with India, it'll have to be a balanced trade deal. It cannot be a trade deal dictated by the US on US terms.
Sushant Sareen, the fact is, Trump might be using tariffs as a geopolitical tool of punishment where India is concerned. But, one should reflect also on how the geopolitical map is changing around us right now. And that should somewhere worry India, would you reckon?
No, of course, that's true. Incidentally, Preeti, I need to correct you. I think on one of your slides, you're showing that they're charging 25% tariffs on mobile phones and other electronic equipment.
Okay.
In fact, there is no such charge on that particular range of commodities.
We'll look at that graphic, right.
I think there is a waiver on that particular thing. So I think you need to fix that. But on your other question, which you're raising, look, yes, it is true that the security environment around India is kind of getting very, very complicated. You have a very clear China-Pakistan nexus. You have the Chinese back the Pakistanis completely. Literally, it's like, as now people are saying, that it's a single front that you are now going to be confronting. You have other very serious challenges developing around the region. And yes, if you were in close partnership with the United States, then that was a kind of a balancing, hedging strategy that we required. But look, if the Americans are desirous of making us a vassal state of the United States, then I'm afraid that's not going to happen. So then we'll have to figure out other ways on how to defend ourselves and protect our security. Secondly, even on these tariffs which he has imposed, I think what is riling us even more is the fact that the way Trump does it, he's trying to finger us. He's trying to poke a finger in our nose. He's doing things to irritate us. Our response has been, which is normal when you're dealing with a schoolyard bully, that either you fight back, which the Chinese have done, and you've seen the schoolyard bully,
Right.
chicken out, right? Or you say that, okay, fine, I'll ignore what this guy is doing, I'll avoid it. But he will keep picking on you because he thinks you are easy meat. Or the third is that you keep getting beaten like some of the allies have done. Incidentally, he's done the same thing with other allies.
Okay.
What Brahma was talking about, even with the Europeans, he says zero tariffs for American products, but European tariffs will be subjected to 15%, European products will be subjected to 15% tariff. It's the same deal he's giving to everybody, that I get zero tariffs, you will have to pay tariffs, and I will then negotiate with you. Essentially, what this means is that America is no longer a member of the WTO, because WTO fundamental principle is most favored nation, that what treatment you are giving to one nation, you are giving to everybody else. Here, this guy is getting into individual deals with separate countries on individual products, individual range of products. And then for the Americans to talk about a rules-based global order, I think
there are no rules to, like, with what happened yesterday.